skin cancer today is vitamin D deficiency. Research is showing that vitamin D deficiency is contributing to skin cancer. On the DNA of the human body, there are 2,500 receptor sites for vitamin D. We cannot heal without vitamin D.
Cancer hates this. The top vitamin that kills cancer. Today, we will learn about an important factor for your health. Vitamin D and its ability to prevent cancer. You may not know this, but vitamin D plays a very powerful role in reducing the risk of cancer. Studies have shown that people with high levels of vitamin D in their bodies have a significantly lower risk of developing cancer, especially cancers like breast, prostate, and colorectal cancer. The results are truly impressive. Some studies even suggest that up to 50% of cancer cases could be prevented if vitamin D levels are maintained properly. So, why is vitamin D so important, and how can we ensure that our bodies receive enough of it? In this video, we will explore studies on vitamin D's anti-cancer properties and share ways to naturally boost vitamin D through sunlight, food, and supplements.
And I was interested, there's a book by a man, his surname is Wishart. And he's written some really good books on vitamin D. And he gives one study on Norwegians, and they found that the skin cancer rates had increased by something like 200%, which is phenomenal. And what they traced it to, it was somewhere between the mid-90s and the early 2000s. And what they found, there were two factors that were contributing to this. One was the Norwegians are spending more time inside and less time outside. So vitamin D deficiency was contributing to their skin cancer. And number two, when they do go outside, they believe what the media says and they cover themselves with sunscreen. So what they are finding, that sunscreen is actually contributing to the vitamin D deficiency that we're seeing, and also contributing to skin cancer. So good amounts of vitamin D deficiency can actually protect you from skin cancer. There are 2,500 receptor sites on the DNA to vitamin D. We cannot function effectively without vitamin D. We cannot heal without vitamin D. Vitamin D is essential, and where do we get it? We get it from the sun. But we get it from the UVB rays. If the window's closed and you're sitting in the sun, you're not getting UVB. It's the UVA rays that come through, and they can actually burn quite quickly, the UVA. When you put sunscreen on, it blocks UVB. So we need to have our skin exposed to the sunshine. So the ultraviolet rays from the sun hit the skin, and they convert a form of cholesterol just under the skin to vitamin D. And it takes about 2 hours to develop that vitamin D. So if you lay out in the sun and then go and have a shower and wash yourself with soap and wash away all your oils, you're not going to get your vitamin D. It needs 2 hours. But if you're lying in the sun and you get hot and you dive in the pool or in the sea, actually, if you dive into a chlorinated pool, that chlorine on the skin does inhibit your ability to uptake the vitamin D. So if you're going to dive in a pool, dive in a fresh pool, dive in a lake, dive in a river, dive in the sea, they won't affect your body, your skin's production of the vitamin D. And if you have a shower and wash yourself with soap, washing all your oils away, and go and lay in the sun, you won't get vitamin D, because that layer of natural oil is needed on the skin. So there are a few things that we need to be mindful of to be able to access our vitamin D. It was probably in the 1890s, it was estimated that 90% of children living in North London had rickets. What's rickets? Rickets is a bone disease. And I have a book at home called The Healing Power of Sun, and it's got a picture of 3 little girls. And this picture, forgive my, and one legs were like this. The girl without rickets, her legs were like that. And the other little girl, her legs were like this. And these little girls couldn't even stand up straight. Rickets is returning. But you know, children suffered from rickets for about 100 years before finally it was acknowledged that it was a vitamin D deficiency. They're not in the streets of London between those high rises where they're not getting their sun. They're running out in the hills. I'd like to add they're also running barefoot and they're also probably eating nourishing food. It wasn't until 1920 it was finally acknowledged that rickets was a vitamin D deficiency. Medicine has cured 3 diseases: rickets, beriberi and pellagra. What are those 3? They're just deficiency diseases. That's all they are. So when they finally acknowledged that rickets was a vitamin D deficiency, nurses would give mothers classes showing them how to put their babies and their children in the sun. Do they still have those classes? No. What are mothers told today? Get your children out of the sun. I know in Australia they've now put shade cloth over all the playgrounds. Children are not allowed outside unless they've got a hat and sunscreen on. And guess what's returning? Rickets is returning. You've also got children, instead of climbing trees and riding bikes and skateboards, they're inside on technology. So that's another contributing factor. And the devitalised food and the sugar. So you've got all of these things coming together.
Vitamin D not only plays a crucial role in bone health, but also has a powerful impact on the immune system and the body's ability to fight cancer. The way vitamin D affects the immune system may help explain why it is so important in cancer prevention. Vitamin D has the ability to regulate immune responses, helping the immune system function effectively without overreacting. Specifically, vitamin D stimulates the activity of key immune cells such as T cells, which help detect and destroy infected or abnormal cells, including cancer cells. Vitamin D enhances the function of T cells, helping the immune system respond more vigorously to cancer cells. These cells play a role in capturing and destroying invaders, including cancer cells. Vitamin D also supports macrophages in detecting and eliminating abnormal cells in the body. Another factor that vitamin D affects is the reduction of chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation has been shown to be a significant factor in creating an environment that promotes tumor development. Prolonged inflammation can lead to tissue damage, making it easier for cancer cells to form and grow. Vitamin D helps regulate the immune system's inflammatory response, reducing chronic inflammation and preventing the development of a cancerous environment. The body needs a balance between a strong enough immune response to destroy cancer cells and not too strong to avoid causing chronic inflammation. A range of studies has shown that people with low vitamin D levels are at a higher risk of common cancers such as breast, colon, and prostate cancers. These studies indicate that maintaining adequate vitamin D levels can help reduce the risk of these cancers. Moreover, people with higher vitamin D levels in their bodies tend to have a better prognosis when they develop cancer. They are less likely to experience metastasis and have higher chances of recovery due to vitamin D's support for the immune system. This further reinforces the hypothesis that vitamin D plays an important role in cancer prevention and treatment support.
When people are eating high acid foods, that also causes a leaching of calcium to come out. So you can imagine if people are eating things that are causing the calcium to be taken out and they're not replacing it, then their bones are going to break down, aren't they? When I had my cast changed after 4 weeks, I had an x-ray and the bones were healing very nicely after my break. The nurse that was changing the cast, he said, "Do you have osteoporosis?" I said, "No." He said, "Have you had a test?" I said, "No." And then I realised how silly that sounded. Well, how do I know that I don't have osteoporosis? Well, when my body slipped and went up in the air and slammed down on that wrist, on that big rock, I think if I had osteoporosis, there would have been a lot more broken bones. Our bones should not deteriorate. They should stay strong. The Hunzas that live in the Himalayan mountains, reported to be some of the healthiest people on the planet, they don't have doctors or nurses or police in their communities. Eat organic food because they don't have chemicals. They drink the pure water from the mountains, and they're not drinking cow's milk every day. Cow's milk delivers calcium to cows because they've got 4 stomachs. They have the ability to break it down. But by the way, where do the cows get their strong bones? Grass. From the grass that they're eating, because those dark green leafy vegetables are very high in minerals. But back to the Hunsers, that's where polo came from. They really like that game on the horses, you know, where they hit the ball. And sometimes they fall off and they don't have hospitals. They're not breaking their bones because their bones are so strong. Because another reason why bones deteriorate are people not getting enough sun. How much sun do we need? Well, how long's a piece of string? It can be 1 inch long or it can be 10 yards long. It depends on you, it depends on your skin colour. If you have dark skin, you need about 10 times the sun that I need. And by the way, you can endure 10 times the sun that I can. So when I was in Bali a couple of years ago, Michael and I had a holiday. I went down by the pool every day to lay in the sun and get a tan, and I didn't have sunscreen. I had my watch. 15 minutes front, 15 minutes back under the umbrella, because I knew that if I laid out for half an hour, my skin would burn. And if my skin burns, I've now damaged the skin. And now I can't go back into the sun for the rest of my holidays. Have you seen the ingredients in the sunscreen? And our skin is millions of little mouths. I don't want any more chemicals to go into my body than I choose not to put them in, but we are exposed in some ways that we don't choose to be.
Sunlight is not only a natural source of vitamin D, but also has a powerful effect on mental health and brain function. When you spend time in the sunlight, your body naturally boosts its vitamin D levels, improving serotonin production and reducing negative symptoms such as fatigue, depression, and irritability. Vitamin D also supports healthy brain function by reducing inflammation and oxidative stress in the nervous system, helping to reduce the risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Just 15 to 20 minutes a day under sunlight is enough for the body to produce the necessary amount of vitamin D. This exposure not only helps improve mood but also supports brain health, enhancing mental clarity and concentration. Vitamin D is not only important for the immune system and cancer prevention, but it also plays an essential role in maintaining cardiovascular health and blood pressure. One factor contributing to arteriosclerosis is the accumulation of calcium in the blood vessel walls. Vitamin D helps regulate calcium metabolism in the body, preventing unwanted calcium buildup in the arteries. Calcium buildup can make the arteries stiff and lead to arteriosclerosis, increasing the risk of stroke, heart attack, and other cardiovascular diseases. Studies have shown that people with low vitamin D levels are at a higher risk of cardiovascular disease and high blood pressure. Furthermore, some studies also suggest that people who maintain adequate vitamin D levels are less likely to develop heart disease and high blood pressure, while improving their overall health. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you now have a better understanding of how vitamin D can help prevent cancer and why it is so important for your health. If you found this video useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more health tips. Take care of yourself, and see you in the next video.